Hello, I'm Carmela Monk Crawford, editor of Message Magazine. Welcome to another episode of the Message Magazine video podcast. Mass incarceration has become a national crisis. In 2014, more than 2 million people were behind bars in the United States. We at Message are so concerned about this crisis that we talked to Professor Michelle Alexander of the New Jim Crow, a bestseller that documents the origins and the solutions to mass incarceration. You can read it on our website. In this episode, we'll look at a very special program run by the Tabernacle Missionary Baptist Church in d'Iberville, Mississippi. This program helps convicted felons successfully transition back into life outside of prison.
And particularly the black church, have always understood that we are not described, nor are we defined by the buildings within which we meet. We can survive. Can I get a witness here? We survived slave castles. We survived the Middle Passage and slave ships. We can survive the New Jim Crow and mass incarceration of black men, which is a blatant form of systematic subjugation.
I was running with a bunch of guys that were up to no good, that stayed in the trouble and stuff like that, and I made a bad decision. And I was man enough to accept the consequences and the repercussions that followed it.
98% of every person ever incarcerated will be released back into society at some point. If you do not prepare them for that release, they will begin to victimize you, a loved one, or someone else in order to make ends meet.
We had to have someone to come in and talk about child support issues. And we had a child support judge as well as a child support enforcement officer to come and to talk to them about child support issues. We had physicians to come in. We had to talk about health, healthy eating, going to the doctor. We had doctors to come in and talk about that.
It's very difficult for individuals to transition back into a free society after they have been incarcerated. Incarceration takes away an individual's ability to make decisions about what they're going to do on a daily basis.
One of the things that, for me personally, having worked with seeing the youth at a younger stage of their development, and then seeing some of the young adults who have made wrong decisions, you see how that they had a lack of influence, lack of positive role models, people who really gave up on them at an early age and caused them to not only not care about society, but most times not to care about themselves. And so that's one of the things that I strive to do each time I met with one of the participants, to show them that they're loved, they're cared about, that they are somebody, no matter what they may think and no matter what they've done.
It is my aim to see more Black Baptist churches, and particularly across the state of Mississippi, become more meaningfully engaged in prison ministry. according to the Mississippi Department of Corrections, 8 out of 10, that's 80% of all black inmates, male and female, who are presently housed by the Mississippi Department of Corrections were at one time a member of a black Baptist church in Mississippi.
One of the reasons that I am so fervent about my commitment to reentry and helping men as they come back is because I too have served time, and I have had to make that transition. I served from 1995 to the year 2000 as a circuit court judge in Harrison, Hancock, and Stone counties. 2 years after I had transitioned back into the private practice, I was then informed that a decision I had made while a circuit judge was under investigation. At that point, I began to make some inquiries, and it was a year later that the federal prosecutor indicted myself and 4 others. Is a modern day form of slavery. I truly believe with every fiber of my being that what you have taken place today is a systematic incarceration of men of color. And it is done for one particular purpose, and that is to disenfranchise them, to make it economically difficult for their communities to thrive, and to also destroy the family unit.
I was stayed by myself. I had my own place, but since I got out, I didn't have anything. So, transportation, housing, food, trying to survive, employment. I was doing pretty good in 2009. I'm an electrician. That's what I do. And but recession hit, and I was locked up pretty much when all that was taking place. So. Getting out, I was because I'm an electrician, I just know that I can get out and find a job anywhere, but it ain't been many jobs. It ain't been jobs, so.
You provide somebody with a place to stay, a job to work at, food for their family, good medical care. Now I can talk to you about the gospel. But until you take care of those basic needs, people don't want to hear about that.
It was a fight transpired. A couple of friends of mine, and it was like a big fight between me and some more individuals. And once everything happened, it was a fight. And then in the fight, I was trying to defend myself against some guys who said some things. And me being a foolish teenager, 19, 20 years old, the night it happened, I pulled my gun out, and they grabbed my gun, and the gun went off. And then once the gun went off, somebody was shot. If you don't want to be incarcerated, if you don't want to add to the recidivism rate, you have to change your people, places, and things you do that will compromise your freedom. You can't hang with the old crowd, the old people, the old situations and circumstances that's going to pull you down.
They've come through our Sunday school. They've come through our youth department. They sing in our youth choirs. And some way, somehow, we failed them the first time. Now that they are part of and I agree what Michelle Alexandra called the new Jim Crow, this systematic subjugation. We failed them the first time. They are in this prison nation. I just don't think we should fail them again.
before my release date, I already had my plan in place. I had already positioned myself for greatness. And all I was waiting on is for the opportunity to present itself to put the plan into action. I found out personally, your release does not start the day you're released. It starts mentally when you're making up in your mind that you're ready for a change.